Actually, since we got the regulars here, got all the regulars here pretty much, I think I'll tell the credit card story, actually. Because, like, I was going to tell that story today if I was streaming Omori. Like, yeah, I just want to tell the story and get it over with. So, I need to scroll through my DMs with Zamixi and find where I was told her this story. So, like, yeah, Rockwell. I'm gonna tell the Cards Haunted story. So, like, y'all know that I, like, cameoed on B's debut stream for, like, her, she did the 24-hour debut stream, and, like, I was there for the whole ride. Yeah, so, like, I did this huge gift sub bomb. I dropped 20 gift subs one shot, the $100, just fucking yeeted it. I'm like, yeah, let's do this thing. And then I'm like, hey, what'd be funny? If I just, like, every time someone came in the chat, if they didn't have a sub, I would gift them a sub. And, like, so, like, I just gifted individual subs over and over for hours. This went on for, like, I gifted 16 individual subs. It was not good. Eventually, Minty's like, Squid, you need to slow down. Like, you're gonna screw up your credit card. And, like, she threatened to ban me from commissioning emotes because she thought I was, like, being irresponsible with my money. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop. I don't want to, like, upset you. I'm sorry. And so, like, I think, all the transactions went through. Everything's fine, right? I don't think there's a problem. Everything's good. And so that night, I switch over briefly to Cameo on stream Willy Studies, the first, like, study streamer that I really started watching. He's a friend of mine. He goes to the same university as me. And we play Jackbox. And I swear this is relevant. Like, for some reason, my mic filtering just dies every time that, like I open Jackbox and my mic filtering just starts glitching really hard. So I have to switch to just having my raw microphone, no filtering, which is, not ideal. But, like, everything goes fine, it's good. And, like, after that, like, I switch back to B stream and I'm like, man, like, I want to play some more Jackbox. And so, like, a couple hours later, we start playing Jackbox, and eventually we start playing TKO. And so we're playing TKO, and there's this shirt design that we come up with that just murders the entire room. We're all just dying laughing. It's literally, the design is just the letter E, and the shirt says, God left me unfinished, and we're all just dying. And by the end of it, a bunch of us are like, I want that shirt, because, like, you may not know it, but TKO, you can buy the shirts after each game. And so, like, I was like, hey, I'm gonna, like, buy the shirts for, like, people who are here. Like, I'm gonna do the thing. And then, like, I go to buy the shirt, my credit card's declined. So, I call Synchrony Bank. I call my credit card company, and they're like, yeah, your card's locked due to, like, suspected fraud, and, like, we need you to, like, go to a website to, like, verify who you are. I'm like, okay, cool. They're gonna just, like, text me a URL, I'll tap it, and they'll see it. That's fine. I've done that a million times. That is not what happened. They had me hand type a URL. Like, hand type a URL for a site. And, like, so I had to fill out this form. It was just like, what's your name? Who are you buying from? Your social security number, like, everything. And I had to take a video of my face, and I had to, like, take photos of my ID card. It was insane. It was, like, actually a little bit insane. And, like, by the end of it, I got a code. And they're like, okay, read the code to me. I did. And they're like, okay, you're good to go. Card's unlocked. You're good. And I'm like, okay, I'm good. I hang up, I go to buy the shirts again, and yeah, no, didn't work. Did not work. So I call back. They're like, oh, your card velocity is too high. We need to, like, reset your card velocity. And I'm like, okay, which basically, like, I made too many transactions, is what that means. And I'm like, okay, cool, like, let's do that. And so they verify my identity again, and still nothing. Like, still. Like, it, like, I'm like, hey, can I try the transaction before we hang up? The person's like, okay, sure. And, like, they say, like, if you get declined again, like, your card I may not be able to fix your card for, like, 7 to 10 days. And I'm like, okay, that's not ideal. Like, basically they said, like, I have to, like, clear my cart and, like, do the whole transaction over again, or it'll get declined again. So, like, I'm trying to do that. I try to clear my Firefox session, and, like, it doesn't work. For some reason, it keeps everything in my cart. I'm like, I don't understand. And, like, so, like, I open up Chrome, and I get to the checkout in Chrome, and it just freezes. And eventually I open a Firefox private session, and I try checking out, and like I said, I get declined a second time. What I didn't know is the Firefox session, while I was, like, trying to clear out my cookies, it tried to run the transaction again, like, without me doing or saying anything, I think 1 or 2 more times, because the number of times that they said I tried the transaction didn't line up with the number of times I think I actually did. So, like, I think that just was what fucked my card. And so, like, I call back, and I'm like, hey, I've been on the phone twice now. I called twice now, you know, like, can you help me out? They're like, okay, yeah, like, we'll help you out. And then I get disconnected, and they don't call back. And so I call a 4th time, and I'm like, lay the whole thing out. And they're like, okay, you know, like, the only option I have here is, like, send you a letter and, like, reset your card that way. And I'm like, ooh, that's not good. And, like, but, like, the person on the phone, like, she tries to work with me. And, like, at this point, I'm really just, like, struggle braining really hard. And, like, she listens to the whole thing, like, okay, what a VTuber is, 24-hour stream, the whole thing. She's really nice, really nice. And it just goes on, and eventually she's like, I can't do anything, but, like, can you read me the code you gave to, like, the first person you talked to? And I'm like, yeah, okay, here's the code. And she's like, code's too short. I'm like, what do you mean? That's the code. Like, that's it. She's like, well, it needs to be, like, I think she said 13 digits. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. This is the code the website gave me. And I'm like, okay, like, I'll just use a different credit card. And, like, so, like, I go back, and at this point, like, I was fine on the phone, but at this point, I go back, and I'm just in hysterics. I'm, like, breaking down. B's like, are you okay? But, like, I buy the shirts, everything's good, stream goes great, but, like, my credit card was, like, fucked for like, the next week. But, like, that's where things get weird. Like, so firstly, Minty ran an emote raffle, actually, at the end, and that's how this happened. I got that emote. Like, but, like, other than that, Minty was like, yeah, you screwed up. Like, you're banned from emote commissions for, like, the next, until your credit card unfucks itself. I'm like, oh, okay, like, that's fair. But, like, my card magically unfucked itself, like, before I got the letter. I'm really confused. But, like, the whole point of this story is, that's why I have these emotes. Because I wanted to have, like, something, but, like, I didn't want to seem like a greedy jerk for having the haunted credit card for my tier 3 and then no tier 1 or 2 emotes. So I just quickly slapped together those temporary emotes. I have no pog and I must scream, not scream, God, what's wrong with me? And, this is a keck, I swear. But, like, the funny thing is, I have no Pog and I must scream. I predicted the death of PogChamp just making these shitty fucking, like, placeholder emotes. Like, I don't understand. I'm, like, really tempted to keep that I have no Pog and I must scream, just because, like, I predicted the death of PogChamp, like, a week ago. Yeah, Riv. Yeah. Of note, you requested that. I did not win. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just fucking dying, because I predicted the death of PogChamp on accident. Yep, Cards Haunted. Yeah, speaking of Cards Haunted, like I said, I just, out of nowhere, mysteriously, my credit card is working again, even though I didn't get the letter yet. I don't understand. I really don't understand.